Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be hauling a few books. So I have 19 books here to haul today. I somehow keep accumulating books. We're not going to question it. We're not going to talk about it. It's a problem that will eventually get reined in a little bit. But I have a little mix of everything today. I have some romance, some cozy mysteries, some middle grade graphic novels. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Also, if you notice my background, I just finished filming a reel and an intro to my Sun's Out Books Out reading vlog, which you will see at some point next week. So just ignore all that. We're just in our summer mood. First, I have a few graphic novels. The first one that I have is Enola Holmes, which is book 1 in this graphic novel series that is based on the novels by Nancy Springer. This is by Serena Blasco. I'm really excited for this one. This is telling the story of Sherlock Holmes' little sister, Enola. And I don't know if you guys happen to have seen the Netflix adaptation of Enola Holmes, but I really love that. And when I saw that there was a graphic novel series, I knew I had to get my hands on it. I love the art style in this. It's very unique, and some of it looks a little bit like a scrapbook, which reminds me some of Cece's journal, which is one of my favorites. So this is kind of what the inside looks like, just in case you're curious about the artwork. And book 1 includes 3 of the Enola Holmes mysteries. It includes The Case of the Missing Marquise. Is that right? I hope that's right. The Case of the Left-Handed Lady, and The Case of the Bizarre Bouquets. So I'm very excited for this one. My next graphic novel is Peculiar Woods, The Ancient Underwater City by Andres J. Colmenares. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I follow this illustrator on Instagram at Wawa Weewa Comics, and I've really loved how relatable and fun and punny all of his comics are. So I was very excited to see that he was coming out with The Peculiar Woods. I did get an advanced reader copy of this from NetGalley, and I was able to read it early, but I wanted to get a final copy of this because this book is so fun, so quirky. The story is very light, and it reminds me a lot of The Brave Little Toaster. You have these inanimate objects that have been animated now. So you have this chair and this blankie, and you have our main character, 9-year-old Iggy, and it's just such a sweet story of friendship, belonging, and adventure. And it is just a fun time. So if this sounds at all interesting to you, definitely check it out. I haven't said a lot about it, but I just feel like it's worth it. If you need a smile, it's definitely a book worth checking out. I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are all middle grade graphic novels. The last one that I have is Song of the Sea by Samuel Satin, and this is based on the film by Tom Moore. I haven't seen the film, and I don't know if I will, but I just really wanted to consume this story in graphic novel format. It is a lush story about a family adrift after loss and the magical adventure that brings them back from the depths. I honestly do not know if I have hauled some of these or not, so I think this may have actually been in my last haul, but just in case you missed it, I'm really excited about this book. My friend Elizabeth read this and she really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to give it a try. Next, I got Greenwild by Perry Thompson. I received this a little bit before the book came out from the publisher, so I was very excited to receive this package in the mail. You may have seen it posted on my Instagram. I still haven't gotten to it yet, but this is probably one of the most beautiful books that I have hauled to date. So definitely excited about this one. I did talk about this one in my mid-year book freakout tag, so you may remember that. I don't know a lot about the story, but I'm excited to have such a stunning book. I know it is more of like a garden fantasy. Daisy Thistledown is on the run. Her mother's been keeping big glittering secrets, and now she has vanished. So now it's up to Daisy to find her ma. This chase will lead her through a hidden doorway into another world. So we have a portal fantasy, and this place is a place that's bursting with magic and enchantment. It's the Greenwild. Full of astonishing natural wonders, this land of green magic seems too strange to be real. But Daisy quickly realizes that it holds the key to finding her mother and that someone wants to destroy it. This sounds like it's going to be a really good time. Again, thank you so much to the publishers for sending this my way. I'm excited to add another middle grade to my shelves. Next up, we have a romance novel. This is The Off Limits Rule by Sarah Adams. I have already read this one and I tabbed this baby up. I'm not going to say too much about my thoughts on this because this will be in my wrap up at the end of the month. But this was my first Sarah Adams book and I really loved it. So stay tuned for all of my thoughts. This is a brother's best friend romance that centers around Lucy, who is Drew's younger brother, and Drew has a friend named Cooper, and Cooper and Lucy end up falling in love. It is such a sweet story. Lucy's also a single mom, and then there is some like previous relationship trauma that is like brought up in this too, and it's just so stinking good. I keep wanting to say my thoughts, but just know that Sarah Adams has a really nice, clean romance style, and I'm definitely going to be picking up more from her. Then I got The Lonely Hearts Book Club by Lucy Gilmore. So fun facts, you may not know this, but Lucy Gilmore is a pseudonym for the author Tamara Berry, who wrote my favorite cozy mystery series, the By the Book Mysteries. The first one is Buried in a Good Book. And she has a different pseudonym for each of her different types of books. So I can't remember if this is just like general fiction, but I think she's also a different name under her romance book. So it's Lucy something else, but I can't remember. Or maybe it's, I don't remember. But anyways, this one I'm very intrigued by. And of course, because I already know I love this author's cozy series, I wanted to check this one out. It says, everybody has a reason to get lost inside a book. Sloane Parker lives a small contained life as a librarian in her small contained town. She never thinks of herself as lonely, but still, she looks forward to that time every day when old curmudgeon Arthur McLaughlin comes to browse the shelves and cheerfully insults her. Their sparring is such a highlight of Sloane's day that when Arthur doesn't show up one morning, she's instantly concerned. And then another day passes, and another. Anxious, Sloane tracks the old man down only to discover him all but bedridden and desperately struggling to hide how happy he is to see her. Wanting to bring more cheer into Arthur's gloomy life, Sloane creates an impromptu book club. Slowly, the lonely misfits of their sleepy town begin to find one another, and in their book club, they find the joy of unlikely friendship. Because as it turns out, everyone has a special book in their heart and a reason to get lost and eventually found within the pages. Next up, I have another romance. This is a young adult romance called The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. I hauled this one because it is our Suns Out, Books Out buddy read or group read. I don't know a lot about this one. I know it has a little bit of family drama. There is a big game of assassin. This takes place over a summer. I think that there is some grief also weaved into this story, and obviously a romance. There's also some Taylor Swift references, like song references maybe throughout this. So if any of those things are like keywords for you, maybe check this one out. Then we have one of my favorite authors, Sally Hepworth. I had to haul The Family Next Door. I'm really excited for this one. This is one of her more backlist books. I've almost read all of her books, and this one is very close on my next to read list. This says, small perfect towns often hold the deepest secrets. From the outside, Essie's life looks idyllic. A loving husband, a beautiful house in a good neighborhood, and a nearby mother who dotes on her grandchildren. But few of Essie's friends know her secret shame, that in a moment of maternal despair, she once walked away from her newborn, who was asleep in her carriage in a park. Disaster was avoided and Essie got better, but she still fears what lurks inside her, even as her daughter gets older and she has a second baby. When a new woman named Isabel moves in next door to Essie, she is an immediate object of curiosity in the neighborhood. Why single when everyone else is married with children? Why renting when everyone else owns? What mysterious job does she have? And why is she so fascinated with Essie? As the two women grow closer and Essie's friends voice their disapproval, it starts to become clear that Isabel's choice of neighborhood was no accident, and that her presence threatens to bring shocking secrets to light. This is a deeply moving portrait of family drama and a compelling suburban mystery that will keep you hooked until the very last page. I'm excited to read this one. Once again, if you have not heard me mention this before, Sally Hepworth writes more like family drama and suspense. She is tagged as a thriller author a lot, but I feel like that can be a little bit misleading. So just know going into her works, it is more family drama suspense, but I'm very excited to check out this story. And I have another romance here. This is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. You've probably already seen me with this book because I recently posted a taste test romance reading vlog trying out Abby Jimenez. This was a winner for me. I did enjoy this book. It is an age gap romance between a country boy and a city girl. It has a lot of depth to the story. I think this is a really well done story. There is some tropes in it that I don't love, but if you want more of my thoughts, you can go watch my romance reading vlog or wait until my wrap up at the end of the month. But I do think this book is pretty well worth the hype that it gets. And I have another romance. Can we tell what season I'm in right now? It's a romance season for me. I have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I had to haul another Sarah Adams because I was loving the Off Limits rule so much, so I had to get this one. I think this may also be my first sports romance, so whenever I get to it, it will be my first sports romance. I have no doubt that I'm going to love this one. This is a friends to lovers romance, and it says the friend zone is not the end zone for Bree Camden, who is helplessly in love with her longtime best friend and extremely hot NFL legend Nathan Donaldson. The only problem is that she can't admit her true feelings because he clearly sees her as a best friend with no romantic potential, and the last thing Bree wants is to ruin their relationship. But those abs. Nope. Nothing but good old-fashioned, no-touching, the sexiest man alive, platonic friendship for Bree. In any case, she has other things to worry about. After a car accident ended her chance at becoming a professional ballerina, Bree changed paths and now owns her own dance studio with big dreams to expand it. But one more rent increase could mean the end of the studio entirely. Then, as usual, Nathan comes to the rescue, buying the entire building. A stubborn Bree is not happy about it and decides to rebel with a couple. Okay, maybe more than a couple of tequila shots. Then her plan backfires as she spills her deepest, darkest secrets to a TMZ reporter. One viral video later, the world thinks that Nathan and Bree are the perfect couple. Before they can really talk about her confession, Nathan's publicist proposes a big opportunity that could mean financial security for Bree. The catch? They have to pretend to be in love for 3 whole weeks. What will happen when Bree gives in to the feelings she's been desperately hiding for so long? And could she be imagining that Nathan is actually enjoying it? I feel like this is going to be a good one. I don't love the celebrity aspect of it, but I'm hoping, because I trust Sarah Adams, I've liked another one of her books, that this will be a good one too. I do have a couple more romances in my stack. Sorry if you're not into romances, but apparently this is a romance-heavy haul. This one is Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. This is a newer release that I read recently as well. I did talk about this one in my vlog where I talked about Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez, because this one came in and I just could not be helped to go ahead and start it. This is a friends to lovers second chance romance. It is pretty short, and I did think the story was pretty good, but it follows Sam, and she is engaged to Jack, but she goes back home to, she goes back to her family's summer beach house, and this is told in dual timelines from summers past to the current summer, where she first fell in love with Wyatt, and then there was something that happened that broke them apart, and now again she's engaged to this new guy named Jack, and that's kind of the setup of the story. If you like books like Love in Other Words, or more specifically Every Summer After, I think there's a pretty good chance that you'll like this one also. Then I have another Sally Hepworth book. I have The Secret of Midwives, and this one was gifted to me by my friend Gwen, who picked this up at the book exchange, and I'm so glad that she picked it up. I only have, I think, one more Sally Hepworth book that I need to own, and I don't have it yet. It's The Mother's Promise. It's on my Amazon wish list, so at some point I'm gonna get it. But this was one that I needed, and so I'm really glad she picked it up. It says 3 generations of women, secrets in the present and from the past, a captivating tale of life, loss, and love. Neva Bradley, a 3rd generation midwife, is determined to keep the details surrounding her own pregnancy, including the identity of the baby's father, hidden from her family and coworkers for as long as possible. Her mother, Grace, finds it impossible to let this secret rest. The more Grace prods, the tighter Neva holds to her story, and the more the lifelong differences between private, quiet Neva and open, gregarious Grace strain their relationship. For Floss, Neva's grandmother and a retired midwife, Neva's situation thrusts her back 60 years in time to a secret that eerily mirrors her granddaughter's, one which, if revealed, will have life-changing consequences for them all. As Neva's pregnancy progresses and speculation makes it harder and harder to conceal the truth, Floss wonders if hiding her own truth is ultimately more harmful than telling it. Will these women reveal their secrets and deal with the inevitable consequences, or are some secrets best kept hidden? So in case you didn't know this, Sally has written a little bit of historical fiction, and I believe this is going to fall into that as well. So I'm excited to get a little bit of a different glimpse of her writing. I have one more romance in this stack, and it is Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. These are the authors of The Roughest Draft. I haven't read that one before. I've heard mixed things, but I'm really excited for this one because it reminds me a little bit of After I Do. When a couple starts to feel like they're married to a stranger, a flirtatious game of pretend becomes the spark they need to reignite their relationship. So you have Eliza and Graham, and they are like celebrating their 5-year anniversary, but they're neither one really too excited about it. They're sitting at this bar one night on their vacation, and the bartender like mistakes them for both being single and tries to set them up. So then they start this big game of role play, which in turn ends up sparking their romance again. So I think this sounds like a really interesting concept. I love reading books about married couples because I feel like as a married woman, I can relate a lot of the time, so I'm excited to try this one out. Next, I have a little bit different of a book. I have Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I am really thrilled to read this one because I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's a little bit of a magical realism, time travel type book where you go to this cafe and you have to you can travel back to any point in time. I don't know if it's in your own life or, let's see. In a small back alley of Tokyo, there's a cafe that has been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. Local legend says that this shop offers something else besides coffee, the chance to travel back in time. Over the course of one summer, 4 customers visit the cafe in the hopes of making that journey. But time travel isn't so simple, and there are rules that must be followed. Most important, the trip can last only as long as it takes for the coffee to get cold. I think this is going to make me cry, and I just really want to cry. I don't want to cry, but I like emotional books. I think that when a book can evoke that kind of emotion in you, it's a pretty big deal. So I'm excited to give this one a try, and it does have a couple others. There's a second book. I don't know if they're actually sequels, but they're in the series together. There's a second book and I think a third book coming out soon, so I'm very excited to dive into this one. It's a short read and one I feel like I could really enjoy. And we're gonna wrap this baby up with 5 cozy mysteries. So the first one is by my favorite cozy mystery author, Tamara Berry. This is the 3rd book in the By the Book Cozy Mystery series. It is Murder Off the Books. I love this series. If you've not already heard me talk about it, this follows our main character, Tess Harrow, and her daughter, Gertie, as they have moved into Tess's her late grandfather's cabin in this place in Washington that I never remember the name of. I think it's Winthrop. That's what it is. Winthrop, Washington, and this author just writes the best, funny, relatable, just good, just wholesome and good cozy mysteries. That's all you need to know. If you like cozy mysteries, or even if you don't, try this series out. So that is the first one that I have. I have a couple others. These are all, well, except one, maybe it is, but these are all kind of summery cozies. So the next one is Get Away with Murder by Diane Kelly. I've been really intrigued to read this one because it takes place in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I'm not going to go into excruciating detail on all of these, but that is what piqued my interest about that one. This one is Still Knife Painting by Cheryl Holland. This is a paint and shine mystery. This one just sounded really interesting. Miranda Trent has set up a sweet life in a scenic corner of Appalachia until she stumbles across the trail of a killer. So this is in eastern Kentucky, and this woman is planning for summer tourists to come in. She is pairing outdoor painting classes with sips of local moonshine, followed by a mouth-watering sampler of the best in Southern cooking. So she's doing this paint and shine thing, but then somebody kills the cook. So that's what this one's about. That sounded super interesting. Then this one I don't think is set in the summer, but I'm not sure. It's called Murder is Binding by Lorna Barrett. This is a Booktown mystery. Stoneham, New Hampshire was a dying town until community leaders invited booksellers to open up shop. Now its streets are lined with bookstores and paved with murder. So this one, I think the main character owns, I don't know if she owns it or if this is just the person that dies. But there is a cookbook bookstore. So I think that's really interesting, and this just kind of piqued my interest. Also because it says Murder is Binding, and I read another book that had bookbinding in it. I'm not sure if this one will, but that's kind of what drew me in. And the last one is Murder on Cape Cod by Maddie Day. I love the cover of this one. I love the watercolor. It's just really beautiful. This is about a bicycle shop owner and a book club that must find a crafty killer. So also really excited for that one. So this is my stack. This is my book haul. Like I said, I could have hauled a couple of these before, but I didn't really remember. So hopefully you don't mind hearing about them again. Maybe you just needed the reminder to pick them up for yourself. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave a cat emoji down below because a couple of these cozy mysteries have cats on the cover, and then Before the Coffee Gets Cold also has a cat on the cover. There's a cat on the cover of Greenwald, so cats are the theme today. So leave me a cat emoji down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, friends.